Welcome back to the Orange and Brown Talk podcast, our Browns-Bengals preview edition. And now we're happy to welcome on Michael Niziolek, who covers the Bengals for cleveland.com. You can find his work at cleveland.com/Bengals. Michael, thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely, Dan. Hi, Mary Kay. How are you doing too?
I'm doing great, Michael. Thanks for joining us today. The number one question on everyone's mind is how on earth do the Cleveland Browns have Joe Burrow's number to the point where they are 4-0 against him right now? And the biggest thing, of course, is what can he do about it? What can the Bengals do about this?
Score first. No, I think that is part of the essential kind of focus, starting fast. I think they've been disappointed with how they've started kind of in these last two games in particular, excluding the Week 17 game last year, which they kind of put to the side. That 95-yard interception touchdown return that Denzel Ward had last year. And then, obviously this year with the tipped pass that kind of derailed an early drive and kind of set the course there. So I think that's sort of what they're hoping to get. I think the home crowd will give them a boost. This is the first time all year they've had back-to-back home games. So, the atmosphere last week's against the Chiefs was really exciting in Cincinnati, and I think they'll be just as motivated this weekend, even though obviously the stakes aren't as high, with the AFC's top team. But obviously it's your biggest rival, so I think they will show up and be loud, and I think that could help make a difference as well.
So when you look at the Bengals since they came to Cleveland and lost that game on Halloween, what has changed for this team?
Well, Zach Taylor will say that's an anomaly, and they were playing well before that and after. I think that the offensive line is playing better. I think they're gelling. This was a group that didn't get much time in the preseason together, and I think you've seen them sort of steadily get better and improve. And really, Joe Burrow referred to them as probably playing as well as anybody in the league right now. So I think that's sort of been an element that wasn't there. They didn't play particularly well against Cleveland. And the defense had an off day. That really was an anomaly. This defense has really been, I was looking at the statistics. Maybe they don't jump out, but clutch is sort of, I guess, a statistic you can't measure. Last week you saw that with Jermaine Pratt forcing that fumble, them getting a late sack on Patrick Mahomes. They've come through in the red zone very often, stopping teams from getting points. And that's kind of been their formula for success. But I think maybe the biggest difference is that offensive line just, they really are playing at a higher level. The rest of the team, you just feel like they just had a bad day. and Jamar Chase is obviously back, and that'll bring something. But, they played well without Chase really every game except for that one too. So, I think the offensive line is probably the answer to that question.
Well, that probably helps answer the question that I have now, and that is obviously when Joe Burrow was asked about the Cleveland Browns, what makes them so unique and so difficult, he answered Myles Garrett. And Myles Garrett has a ton of sacks. He seems to always be able to wreck the game against the Bengals, and it would seem to me that would be a key for the Bengals, is to figure out what in the heck to do with Myles Garrett. So do you think they are better equipped to handle him this game? And if so, what are they going to do to kind of contain him a little bit?
Well, yeah, I think but kind of both my answer, when I said start fast and then the offensive line, those are the two answers, right? Last game, it's kind of the perfect storm. They get behind, they got to throw, and Myles Garrett, you can kind of let him go and do his thing and not support as much, and that's a tough spot to put those tackles in. I don't think Jonah Williams, in particular, had a very good game. That was sort of one of his worst of the season. And so I think the answer is if they can control the game a little better, not get in those situations where, they can't be as dynamic and, make him guess a little bit just because, you knew in that second half what they were going to do. I mean, they had no choice but to throw the ball. That'll be one way. And then I think, they just play better. They don't get beat. They're a little more effective or efficient. I think that'll help. I mean, I think they will say that, look, Myles Garrett's going to get a sack or two, and there's probably not much we can do to stop it. He's going to have good games. You just can't let him be as disruptive in key situations.
All right, Michael, I usually warn our guests before we hit record about this question, but I forgot to do that this week, but I'm sure you're ready for it. Do you have are you ready to make your pick for Sunday's game?
I kind of feel like this is going to be like where the Cincinnati takes out their frustration. Like what is it? 8 of the last 9, I think they've lost. So this goes back further than Joe Burrow, and so I think they can set their score. I think it's going to be lopsided. Maybe I'll have egg on my face, but I was thinking something like 35 to 13 or something like that. I just feel like that they're playing so well and have got everything kind of going for them that if they lost this one, then I think you could call it like a curse now, in the series.
All right, that is Michael Niziolek. Michael, where can people find you?
At Michael Niziolek on Twitter, and obviously cleveland.com/Bengals for all our coverage, and we'll all be together and dominating the press box on Sunday. Should be fun.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Cleveland.comers there on Sunday for sure. And also, if you want to get caught up on all things Bengals, check out the Strictly Stripes podcast, just like the Orange Browns Talk podcast. It goes 5 days a week.